Welcome back to the Slow Style Home Podcast. Before we jump into our episode today, I want to let you know that I am jumping on the Black Friday, Shop Small Saturday, Cyber Monday bandwagon. I thought it was a good time to offer my book with some extras, some bonuses, so that you are excited about giving the gift of creating a beautiful, meaningful home to yourself or to someone else who you think would really love it. So, in addition to getting a signed copy of the book from me, you can also choose one of three options. The first option is to have the book beautifully gift wrapped, including a small ornament of a house, a very simplistic ornament of a white clay house. That, yes, you can put it on a tree if you have one, but I tend to put ornaments like this hanging from doorknobs or drawer pulls throughout the year. So feel free to do that if you prefer. The second option is to get a signed copy of the book along with a private audio only slash podcast course that I have created called Unlock Your Signature Style. There are 4 episodes that you can listen to at your own pace, and in it, you will really unlock what it is you have been trying to express about yourself in your home. And the third option is to get the signed copy of the book along with a one-on-one video call with me, a private coaching, consulting call where we can talk about anything you want in your home and hopefully solve some of your design dilemmas. So, this offer starts on Black Friday, which is November 28th, and it goes for 1 week through December 1st. And I do have a limited supply of books. My publisher has sent me a box of books, so that's what I've got to work with. I hope that one of these options sounds great to you. You can find out all about it by signing up for our newsletter, slowstylehome.com. Click on the free guide and you'll be in the queue for the newsletter to find out all about the offers, as well as be reminded about when the cart opens and when it closes. Like I said, it's just for 1 week until supplies are gone. Again, these specials will be available starting November 28th. All right, let's jump into today's episode. I have with me Fariha Nasir. She has a beautiful home in Houston, Texas that she's been working on one room at a time. She is terrific at DIY projects, and I want to point out, as she does during this episode, that she was completely brand new to doing DIY before she moved into this house. She has taken on some pretty amazing projects. She is self-taught, and it's very inspiring. But why I really wanted to talk with her is because she has taken a lot of her Pakistani heritage, the motifs. She has brought those memories, those feelings, and that deep meaning of home into her place in America. And I really love how she is combining this mix of culture and heritage. If you're on YouTube, you'll be able to see the photos as we walk through together. If you are just listening, I am trying to do a much better job of describing what we're looking at. I think I do a pretty good job in this episode, so you should be just fine. However, you are with us today, I am so happy you're here. Let's get started. Here's Fariha. Fariha Nasir, welcome to the Slow Style Home Podcast. It's lovely to have you here.
Thank you, Sandra. It's lovely to be here.
Great. We are going to talk all about your home. And I want to start off by asking you to tell us a little bit about what inspires you. Where do you pull your palettes from? What's important to you in terms of using design as a way of expressing yourself and creating a place for you to be creative and energetic, as well as feel comfortable and creating a nice nest for your family?
I love that you asked me that question because it has taken me a while to get to where I am. And when I moved from Pakistan, I was born and brought up in Pakistan. I moved here 12 years ago to Houston, Texas. That was my first time living on my own. My
So you not only
style,
moved countries and
I moved countries.
cultures, you moved by yourself for the first time. That's pretty huge.
Yes. It was my first time living alone. and I was discovering what my style was. And it started off as very colorful and bright and eclectic and um, intuitive. And then
Okay.
slowly I started being very informed by social media and culture
Mm,
around me. And
mm.
everyone in the United States, it seemed to me at the time, was into that farmhouse aesthetic. And that I started to love that. I thought, okay, hey, this is it. This is what's supposed to look good. This is what
Ah,
everyone loves.
okay.
And I really started to pull those vibes into my own house, my first house, and it didn't feel me. I was just trying to replicate what I saw around me.
Hmm.
And it took me a while to even discover what my style was. And I think it took going back to Pakistan after 8 years of being in the States. I hadn't gone back to my country for 8 years.
Wow.
And I went back and I was reminded of all these beautiful things that are in my culture.
Ah,
The the walnut wood carving furniture, the stained glass, the block prints, the textiles, the hand woven textiles. There's so much color and richness in my heritage. And it took me going back to kind of be reminded of it. And I
yeah,
brought back some of those ideas with me. And I slowly started trickling that into my house. And I feel like now a lot of my design aesthetic is influenced by my culture and heritage.
yeah.
Um, I went from an all white, gray, very neutral house to now something that reflects my personality. It's more colorful, it's got more pattern in it, a lot more layers. It's got modern pieces mixed with um, treasures from back home. I've got my grandma's silver tea set hanging
Mm.
out in a cabinet, tapestries from back home, and it just feels more authentic now.
Well, that's a beautiful story. I am so glad you shared that because, you're speaking my language. This is something that I talk about all the time. What I have found is everything's become so generic. Um,
Everything almost looks the same
it
now.
does. I think we're afraid to kind of step out of those boxes, those style categories, as you mentioned, like farmhouse was so big for a while. But what you have done is the experimentation, the copying, and then the soul searching and the figuring, wait a minute, who am I? What do I want my house to look
Yeah.
like? And we're going to see photos of your house. And as we go through, everyone's going to be able to see how personal it feels and how cohesive it feels. Even though there's a mix of cultures and narratives and design decisions, there's a cohesion there that I find to be extremely beautiful. And I feel like I at least know something about you just by looking at your home and your photos, which I think is
I
great.
love that. That's something so special. Nobody has ever said that to me, and
Oh,
I love that. Yeah.
well, the block printing that is throughout your home in particular, you've done it in so many different ways with different color palettes. And I feel like it really impacts each of the rooms you've used it in a different way. And so I'm excited to talk about that.
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and start sharing some photos, and I'm going to try to do a really good job of describing what we're looking at for people who are just listening. I think that some discussion about Pakistan and the design elements that you're bringing back to your home in Houston is going to be sprinkled throughout our conversation. But is there anything else that you want to say about your personal aesthetic or about the home itself?
I think it's very important to clarify that this home was a cookie cutter home that we purchased back in 2019.
Okay.
Um, we never got to select any of our finishes. The kitchen was already decided for by the builder.
Right.
We got lucky that it was a pretty, inoffensive looking house. It
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
blank. It was a clean slate. Unfortunately, I had this dream of a custom home, and that I could not afford at the time by hiring contractors or designers. And I told myself, if other people, especially if other women can do this, so can I. So I taught
Yeah.
myself how to use power tools.
Oh,
And
wow.
yeah, it was quite a journey from never holding a hammer in my life to suddenly going to a table saw.
Wow. Okay. what we're looking at right now is the stairway that's in the center of your home.
Hmm.
And you've got this fabulous wallpaper, which a lot of people don't wallpaper the side of a staircase. So right away, I'm intrigued. But I also love how you've hung the artwork. There's about five pieces of artwork, and the stairway. It's not very tall because you've got a landing and then the stairs go up in the opposite direction. So if you guys can picture what I'm saying here. So the artwork's hung very low. So tell us a little bit about the wallpaper, and then we're going to look at a before and after of the staircase that you did as well.
Sure. So this wallpaper is actually from my wallpaper collection with Chasing Paper. It launched earlier this year. And
Congratulations. I've
thank
had Chasing
you.
Paper on the show, and I really love their products. So that's really
Yes,
exciting.
I'm so excited to have partnered with them for this. Couldn't have had a better partner than
Oh,
them.
good.
And so this, I drew inspiration from my, um, it looks like shibori, but it's actually ajrak. It's a technique used in the province that I'm from, Sindh. Um,
Can you spell that for us, that technique?
Ajrak.
Okay, thank you.
And it's a hand, almost like a tie-dye technique where you tie up the fabric a certain way and you dip it in natural dyes, natural pigment. And it's primarily done by men and women in villages in Sindh, the province that I'm from.
Hmm.
And it's almost like a symbol of pride from
Mm,
of the people back there. They take honor, and it's like a symbol of honor that if you present someone with this fabric, it's like
mm.
you're honoring them.
Oh,
And yeah, it's a huge thing back home. And I thought I have to do something with this pattern. It's so unique to my story, and
yeah.
I wanted it to be in all its traditional colors. So this is one of the colors. It's a more rust red oxide pigment that it's supposed to emulate. And
Okay.
I drew this pattern in watercolor. And I decided, you know what? It doesn't need to be everywhere. This can be a statement piece. And
Mm,
the staircase wall ended up being the perfect spot for it because it's kind of a transition
yeah.
space. It's even though it's an open concept living room, kitchen, and stairwell area, I thought this wall could be the perfect place for adding a little bit of pattern and color. And I often see that, staircases are overlooked, and adding artwork is I love artwork. I do have an art background. I majored in painting. And so you'll find art throughout my home.
Yeah.
And so, unique ways of hanging artwork also is something that I love doing. Just,
Yep.
you wouldn't think to hang art that low, but
Exactly.
it just brings attention to it. And I think it's a forgotten space that, you see in a different way now.
Well, and I want to point out too that the artwork is kind of curving around this bench. And so there's a relationship between the piece of furniture and the artwork. There's a visual relationship because they are close together and they are, like I said, kind of curving around one side
Hmm.
of the bench. And I just think that's such a smart way to hang art as well. And to my American eye, this pattern in this colorway looks kind of like a rug. Am I far off on that?
So you're not wrong. It does kind of have that vibe to it, but I don't think the actual technique, ajrak, is done on rugs. It's
Right.
done on like flat woven fabric.
Yeah.
The interesting thing is that there is a Persian rug, a little tiny piece of a Persian rug framed right on top of it.
Yes, you
The
can see that on the
large,
photo of the right, where there's more of a close-up. You can see that there's a photograph of a rug. Yeah,
yeah, that's actually
when
an
you start,
actual tactile rug that's framed.
I love that. Oh, it's
Yeah.
not a photograph of a rug. It's an actual
No,
like remnant.
yes.
Oh, how beautiful. And I also want to just say, I know we're spending a lot of time on this one little area of your house, but you talked about the background of the piece, the inspiration behind the piece being an honor when you present someone with a gift of this kind of fabric. And I also think that putting it on the staircase it kind of goes with that as well. It's like you're inviting people into your home, and it is an honor to be invited into someone's home. So I just think that where you've used this wallpaper is really lovely. And then we see the other angle of the stairs. And tell us a little bit about this. So, this is one of your DIY projects where you painted and carpeted the stairs. Tell us a little bit about your decisions behind that.
Well, this is one of my favorite projects in the house. It has taken quite a beating from our cats. They have just gone to town with the rug, but I love it. I still love it. This actually started back in 2020 when I was bored one day and I decided to cut off a piece of carpet. We had our basic carpeted builder grade stairs, and out of boredom, I thought, hey, let's see what's underneath this carpet because
Uh-huh.
one day I do want to do something else with these stairs. Maybe today's the day. And I cut off a little piece and I took it to show it to my husband in the office. He was working and I just kind of waved the carpet at him and I was like, hey, look what I'm doing. And he was like, oh my God, this is happening.
Yeah.
And I ended up spending the rest of the day just ripping out old carpet.
Yeah.
And that was the beginning of this project. I figured out what I was doing while I was doing it, watched a ton of videos, talked to a ton
Yeah.
of my DIY friends on what challenges they had faced while refinishing staircases. And I learned that it was quite a workout, pulling out those nails and the tacks and everything.
Right. The
Um,
sanding and the refinishing
Sanding.
and
I made a whole tent
oh, good
with
for you.
plastic to contain the sanding dust. It was quite intense.
Yeah.
And it took me a few weeks to do this because
Mhm.
I would only work a few hours a day. I also had a
Yeah.
five-year-old at the time who was very happy to help, and I didn't really want his help. And this was the first time that or the second time that I used a table saw. So a lot of new skills learned along the way. And one thing that I had in mind was that I wanted it to be a vintage runner.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
unfortunately, they were way out of my budget at the time
Mm-hmm.
to have genuine vintage runners. So I decided, okay, fine, I can't get vintage runners for myself right now. But what I can do is stitch together vintage looking runners
Ah,
and give give the illusion of having one long, beautiful blended look.
yeah.
And I sourced these runners from Leloy. I got three different patterns of runners.
Okay.
Um, and then I kind of stacked them one on top of the other,
Wow.
and I made my own vintage runner.
I
And I
love
love
it.
how
I
that
love it.
looks.
Well, Laloy also makes nice rugs, so it's not like you were going, I don't know, to job lot or something
Yeah.
making rugs.
Yeah, I absolutely love Leloy and what they do. They've made something so beautiful, so mass market in a good way.
Uh-huh.
They've made beautiful rugs accessible.
Yeah.
And that's my design philosophy is all about to make good design accessible for more people.
I like the black stripe that's running on either side of the runner as well. Like you said, it's a statement or a focal point along with this gorgeous fireplace. So here you are on the left, sitting in the framed out area you've created for the fireplace, and then the finished end result over here on the right. This must have been a pretty ambitious project because you also had to deal with, I don't know if that's gas or electricity. You had to hook that stuff up. Tell us about this.
So this was, I think, one of my most ambitious projects.
Hmm.
I was so nervous taking this on,
Hmm.
and I waited and saw my friends build fireplaces out of nothing for months and months. I didn't even know how you join two pieces of wood together to make a
Right?
frame
You
at
really
this
were
point.
a newbie.
That
Yeah, yeah.
that idea that you can take two pieces of wood and have them connect like this,
Mm.
that blew my mind. And I told my husband, hey, would you be able to help me with this? Because I think I'm going to need help with this one. And he was like, you know
Hmm.
what? This will be fun. So we should do this together. And I'm
Oh,
so,
good.
without him, I wouldn't have been able to do this because the frame was much larger than me.
Yeah.
I could barely lift it. And
That's what I
he
say
used
about
to
every single project I've done in my house is thank you for doing this with me. Thank you for buying into the vision. And now that I've roped you in and I couldn't
I
have done
know.
it without you.
Yeah, thank God for a helpful husband.
Right.
So with this one especially, we built it together, drywall, all of the mudding of the drywall. And then the good thing is this is an electric fireplace, so there is no gas involved.
Okay.
We just had to plug it in to the
Okay.
wall, and we built this full bench again with just basic framing, and I put some concrete finish on it. So it's not
Mm.
actual concrete, it's just a feather-like finish that goes on top.
Ah.
Um, yeah, and
So the bench part is made, and the surround of the firebox is made out of wood.
it's made out of wood, but it's just
Ah.
finished with a little light layer of concrete, so it looks like it's concrete.
Oh, interesting. Okay. And just for those of you who are listening, this is a really large room, and like Faria said, it's an open concept. So she's created this moment on this huge living room wall with a much smaller wall that is then framing the entire fireplace area. I feel like in doing this, you kind of brought the room down to a human scale instead of making it this over exaggerated scale. Was that part of your intention?
That was exactly my intention. My husband and I both loved the idea of a 20-foot ceiling. When we
Uh-huh.
bought this house, we were like, oh my God, it's massive, it's huge, it's so
Yeah.
grand.
The sunlight.
But
Yeah.
I didn't quite feel at home with it.
Interesting. Yeah.
Growing up in Pakistan, we always had your 9-foot ceilings in our homes, and this was massive to me. It felt a little cold, and all the inspiration that I was getting was floor to ceiling fireplace surrounds, and it just wasn't what I was looking for. And then I came across this designer on Instagram, Hillary Hale Interiors.
Uh-huh.
She had done a squarish fireplace wall in her house. And I thought that would be perfect in here
Right.
because, it would really ground the room, make it more human scale, like you said. And I asked her if, would you mind if I did something similar in my house? She
Uh-huh.
was so accepting because I didn't want to feel like I was just ripping off
I
someone's
know.
idea.
Yeah, yeah.
And I love how it just makes the living room so cozy now.
It really does. And I also want to note that the firebox shape is it's a long rectangle that's horizontal, low to the ground. And the bench, therefore, is goes across the bottom of that. And that is also, well, it's a bench, so it's obviously horizontal, but it's long. And so you've got this really nice, significant horizontal line from the firebox, and then you've echoed that with the landscape portrait above it. And I
Hmm.
think that those horizontal lines also they kind of balance out the verticality of a room that has that
Hmm.
huge ceiling.
Yeah.
Okay, this is a view from the living room into the kitchen area and
Mm.
the breakfast
The
area.
breakfast. Yeah.
And I just want to note that you've got these salvaged architectural brackets here up in the corners. And I feel like it's a way of saying you're stepping into a different space within the home. I mean, it's so subtle. You know, they're up high, they're in the top corners of the between the two rooms, but I really liked that detail.
You know what? That was the intention when I was putting these up is while I love the idea of having an open concept space, I do want to give each room its own personality. When you step into the kitchen and breakfast nook area, I introduce a little bit more color.
Uh-huh.
And these corbels are a way of kind of transitioning into the space.
Yeah.
And I absolutely love having wallpaper in there, even though there's not a
Uh-huh.
lot of wall space in this breakfast nook
Yep.
and the kitchen. But whatever exposed walls you see in here, they are covered in that floral block print wallpaper.
Right, right. So that word that was a good word, transition. You're transitioning to another space, and these two brackets, corbels, as you rightly call them, they're vintage. They've got chippy paint on them. They're just in the upper corners. So that's what I meant by how it's a subtle indication that we're moving to a different space, and I just think it sets a perfect tone. You really get a sense of just the mix, like you were saying, banquette, cafe curtains, the different pillows, the wallpaper. So tell us a little bit about the breakfast area.
Yeah. So this breakfast nook has evolved over the years. It started off without a banquette in here, plain walls, dining tables and
Hmm.
chairs. And I, when I did my wallpaper, I decided, you know what, even though there's such little wall space in this
Right,
room for a wallpaper, it's mostly windows on in this room.
right.
I do want there to be some kind of pattern and texture on them. So I chose my wallpaper in a grass cloth texture. And I mixed it in with these cafe curtains, which I made myself. I got fabric. It has an ivory base and
Hmm.
orange and green and beautiful larger motif that's block printed onto it. And it's a fun layering of patterns because we have two block prints and then we have more patterns on the pillows, which all kind of work together to create this layered, lived in look, which reminds me of kind of like my grandmother's house
Yeah.
back home. And it's just when everything was such a happy mishmash
Mm,
of
yeah.
things.
Yeah.
There's oranges, reds, greens, blues, pinks, and none of them have been planned per se because I never
Yeah.
sat down and planned the house before starting it. It all
Yep.
kind of one thing led to another, and the
Right.
colors that I like are the colors that I like. They're everywhere.
Well, and for people who are listening, I just want to point out when you say orange, red, and green, I mean, you might be picturing bold, jewel
Hmm.
tone colors, and that's not what we're talking about here. These are, yes, orange, green, red, sure, but they're earth tones, and the
Yes.
whole room feels pattern upon pattern of neutrals in different hues. So it's got a very soft feeling, and it certainly doesn't take away from all the gorgeous sunlight that's coming in. So it's very light and airy, this breakfast area.
Yeah.
We transition from there into the dining room, which also has block print on the walls, but this room feels much more formal. So tell us a little bit about what you're going for here.
The pattern is kind of what makes it a little more formal. It's called a buta. The motif that you see, it's uh a larger block print motif.
Can you spell that
And
for us?
Buta,
Thank you.
it reminds me of a Pakistani wedding outfit.
Okay.
The pattern of this, like you see this pattern on wedding embroidery, on a
Okay.
lot of formal clothes in Pakistani
Oh,
culture.
beautiful. Yeah.
Um, and I thought, you know what, I'm gonna save this pattern for my dining room.
Yeah.
I already have this DIY wall paneling that I did years ago, and I can just pull from one of the colors of the wallpaper and repaint it.
Mm-hmm.
And the chandelier, the mirror, and then the plates on the wall that are around the mirror just make it more formal. It's the first thing people see in our home, and I wanted it to be more of a kind of a, like a wow factor
Uh-huh.
when you walk in. I want it to be kind of grand.
The blue and white plates that are hanging on the wall. I know also in your pantry you have a lot of blue and white servingware and that kind of thing. So have you been collecting that for a long time? Is there a story there?
You know what? I haven't been collecting it for a very long time. It's been a year,
Oh,
and
okay.
I have
New
always,
collection.
yes, it's a new collection. I have always been admiring blue and white
Uh-huh.
pottery, serveware, but I never really invested in it because I
Yeah.
thought I don't even have anything that's similar. If I start a collection now, is it worth it? And then I
Mm.
just, I thought, okay, you know what? If I like it, I'll start now. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter if it's a late investment. I can still
Right.
build on a collection. And even in Pakistan, in our home, my mom had a lot of blue and white
Oh,
china.
okay.
And I told her that I'm going to take this one day when I have more luggage space. And I felt like blue and white with the green,
Mm-hmm.
really, I love that mix.
Yeah.
And it's also the perfect marriage of cultures because this is very British, very
Mm-hmm.
early American as well, the blue and white pottery.
Yes.
And then with this Pakistani backdrop, it feels like a full circle kind of moment of where I am
Yeah.
today in life.
Oh, that I'm so glad you pointed that out too. And listen, I am all for people starting new collections. I start them all the time. If you love old things like you and I do, it's hard to help yourself. But I've also had that hesitation, like, oh, do I need this new thing? Do I need to start a new collection? And usually what happens is I put it off for a little while and then there's a tipping point. I've seen it one too many times in an antique shop, and I just finally dive in.
Yeah,
So I get it and I encourage it.
absolutely.
We're going to move upstairs to some of the more private rooms. This guest room. Anyone would be honored and lucky to stay in this room. This is gorgeous. Describe the color palette for us and also who stays here. Do you have a lot of guests? what were you trying to accomplish here?
So Pakistanis host a lot of guests,
Okay.
from parents to siblings to mother-in-laws,
Okay.
fathers-in-laws. And when they come here for a month or two.
Okay.
And
They need a
yeah,
really nice
because
room. Got it.
yes, and they need to be comfortable, they need to have their own beautiful space. I want it to be like a jewel box. I
Yeah.
want to do something that I haven't done before, which for me was the same wall color up to the ceiling as well. I put beadboard above wall paneling, which
Right.
is an odd use of beadboard, but I just loved the narrow vertical lines. It's like a very thin tongue and groove now.
Right.
And imagine beadboard on the top half of your wall. So
Right.
that's what I did here. I did wall paneling on the bottom and beadboard above it.
I
And
love it.
yeah, and then I chose like a salmon pink, mauvey pink color. It's called Sulking Room Pink by Farrow and Ball. Uh,
Okay. It looks plum to me in the
So I think
photos.
that's because of how the lighting was that day, but
Uh-huh.
it's more mauve than
Okay.
plum.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just wanted it to be, this rich, saturated, warm hug of
Yes.
color.
It's so
And
sophisticated too. And I think that's in
yeah.
part because of how you've outfitted it. You've got some beautiful looking things on top of the mantle over the fireplace. Tell us about those light fixtures.
Oh, those are beautiful alabaster sconces from Hudson Valley Lighting.
Oh, yeah.
Um, Absolutely love them. They're so grand. It feels so luxurious.
Yes.
And they've got polished brass metal detailing on them. They're fluted alabaster, and it's just beautiful
Yeah.
the way they flank the mirror on either side.
Yeah.
And then the fireplace is actually a Facebook Marketplace find. I found a mantle and
Wow.
I just brought it home, painted it, and then we again did an electric fireplace
Yeah.
inside just to avoid any kind of gas connection. And it's so convenient. It looks
Oh,
pretty too.
it looks so
And
pretty. And then this bed, it's a gorgeous bed. Tell us a little bit about the bed itself, and then we'll talk about the fabrics you have on there.
yeah, the bed is a linen upholstered bed with a curved headboard,
Yeah.
um, it curved at the ends, and it's so sophisticated. I love it. It's a platform bed, and of course, the bedding is a perfect place to introduce more pattern. There's a stripe on the bedding, then there's a block print quilt, and then another hand woven throw that's on the bed, and then more block print pattern pillows
Right.
just layered on top.
Yeah, yeah. It's really sophisticated, luxurious, all of those words. Like I said, anyone would love to hole up in this room for a month and visit you. Here's another photo that shows more block print on the curtains. Yeah, it's they're the layer upon layer of pattern and texture within a color palette that I think kind of holds it all together so that it feels the opposite of frenetic, even if we're describing it with all of this pattern, but
Mhm.
it really, it's incredibly soothing. And then there's a bath as well that I feel like you've taken the color, maybe the pattern from the guest bedroom into the guest bath. So tell us a little bit about this project, this part of it.
So yeah, this guest bathroom is right outside the bedroom, and it was again a very basic builder grade bathroom with a gray vanity, white
Mhm.
walls, and it started with me holding a paintbrush and thinking, let's paint a pattern on the walls. This was before my
Okay.
wallpaper collection had come out. This was even before I had thought about doing a wallpaper collection. I just
Okay.
loved the idea of painting block print patterns.
Yeah.
And I just took my laser level and I started painting a pattern on the wall.
Wow.
Um, and I decided, okay, this is going to be a lot of fun and a lot of work.
Right.
And the rest of the bathroom kind of followed from that cue, from that pattern.
Yeah.
I reached out to Fire Clay Tile and said, hey, I think this would be a great project to partner on. It was a very piecemeal kind of project for me, but it ended up being really cohesive in the end. The tile is a handmade, a hand glazed tile from
Yeah.
Fire Clay in the color cardamom. It's a stone like color. It's got a lot of brown tones in it, and it's got this beautiful natural variation across each piece.
Mm.
And I decided to stack it vertically and continue the same in the shower area.
Hmm.
And on the floor, to keep the cost lower, I chose a very basic penny tile, a porcelain penny tile. And
Yeah.
then, of course, I couldn't just leave it at that. So I decided to add a liner tile in a blue color, like a slate blue color, with
Yeah.
a fun pattern, just to make it more unique.
Yeah, yeah. I want to wrap up with a discussion about children and decorating. You have, is it three kids?
I have two boys. One is 9, and then this is the 3-year-old's room where they both sleep together now.
Okay, okay. So 9 and 3. So that's a nice spread because it means you're still very much in toddlerhood as you're about to enter the preteen years.
Oh God,
Um,
yes.
um, your rooms that are for the kids are rooms that I, as an adult, would be perfectly happy staying in. There's such grace to them. What they say to me is that from a very young age, you're kind of imparting or teaching your children to take care of things and to respect their surroundings. So tell us a little bit about your philosophy when it comes to decorating with and for kids.
You know what? It's really challenging because my older one was very involved and he loved whatever ideas I had and he would add on to them. His room is the one with the wallpaper on the ceiling.
Yes.
And we decided to do like a tropical safari kind of theme. So it still feels like a kid's room, but the colors and the patterns that I picked for the room are ones that he can grow into
Yeah.
as. And so that's one thing that we really focused on was picking colors that still felt young and fresh,
Hmm.
um, but also didn't read just children and
Yeah.
toddler colors.
Right, right,
And
right.
not kids' furniture lines, but
Okay.
buying from regular furniture lines. So you avoid that toddler aesthetic. And
Well, and
it's
also
just,
then and you can use them in different rooms forever. I
yes,
mean, yeah, yeah.
absolutely.
I mean,
We
like I
never
said, this
bought.
this room is it could easily be a guest room. It's
Mhm.
beautiful.
Yeah, like I never bought a changing table.
Uh-huh.
We use dressers for
Yeah.
changing tables.
Yeah.
We never bought a glider, which was specifically built for a nursery. You can just buy a regular recliner if
Right.
you want to. I decided, okay, why not just put a day bed in here? Now both my boys like to sleep together in this one room,
Oh.
all huddled up together.
So we're now in the playroom area, and again, just from this one angle, you would not know that you were in a kid's playroom or play
Hmm.
area because it looks like it's at the top of the stairs. It's not maybe a completely separate room. I mean, this gorgeous antique chest with
Hmm.
this, gilded framed piece of art, and then you pull out even further and you see the kids, and there's a
Yep.
swing in there. So yeah, tell us a little bit about this room.
I absolutely love the playroom. It's such a fun space, and my kids love it. I've had this swing in there, this DIY swing that I made. It's been there for about 3.5 years now, and the kids love it. They love
Yeah,
it. It's there. They have a little table and chairs to, do their coloring or
right.
drawing on. And then on the other side of the wall, you see more kid-friendly things, like you see a play kitchen, lots of toy storage. And then there's more decorative things on the shelves because I like to see beautiful things in my house. And
Right.
it's not just going to be a playroom forever and ever.
Yeah.
Um, so I wanted the design to be reflective of that. I didn't want to design just for kids in mind, but it works as a playroom. It will work as an adult space once the kids outgrow the toys. And that's what
Right.
I love about it.
Yeah. Yeah. I love it too. And I love the block print that's on these walls. Is that painted or is that wallpaper?
This is wallpaper. Another one of my prints from my collection. This is called Nargis.
Uh-huh.
Nargis is the lotus flower. It's another hand-drawn watercolor sketch that I did. Each motif was a
Mhm.
hand-drawn motif that was turned
Mm,
into this pattern.
it's beautiful.
Thank you.
And I love the vignette. I love it all. Well, Fariha, this has been such a really fun conversation. I love the culture and the heritage that you've brought in, the art, the antiques, all topics that I talk about in slow style and those being the soul of a home, those kinds of objects. You've checked all the boxes. So it's been a pleasure to be invited in. Thank you.
Thank you for having me, Sandra.